This is my chest exercise tier list. I'm gonna be ranking chest exercises mainly based on my own experience with them. I got 10 years of experience, so I think that I'm pretty qualified. You will not see me reference any BS scientific studies to see which exercise has the highest EMG activation or whatever those guys always say. Let's actually rank those exercises by how effective they are in the real world and not just in theory on a paper. Let's start with the barbell bench press. I simply love this exercise. It offers everything that you would want from a chest exercise. This is definitely as close to a must-do exercise as it gets. So this is for sure S tier for me. The brother of barbell bench press is the dumbbell bench press, which gives you the ability to do a deeper stretch at the bottom than if you did the barbell version. This could theoretically result in more gains, but I would say that it's really up to your preference if you choose the barbell or the dumbbell version of bench press. I would recommend you to alternate between those two versions every couple of months, as it can help you to break through plateaus and it can give your body something a little bit different, which will also make the gym more enjoyable. So the dumbbell bench press is also S tier for me. Next is the decline dumbbell bench press. I really don't like when people say, what about the lower chest, while recommending the decline dumbbell bench press. This exercise is just so weird on so many levels. Sure, you might be like, that's kinda cool, but you are lifting 20-pound dumbbells. Try loading 100-pound dumbbells on the decline bench by yourself. It's almost impossible. You need someone to hand over you the dumbbells, otherwise I would not even bother. So the decline dumbbell bench press is D tier for me. The barbell decline bench press is for sure a bit better than the dumbbell version, but if you don't know what you're doing, you will end up hurting your shoulders. I have seen way too many people doing the barbell decline bench press in a way where they are basically putting the bar almost to their neck. You will 100% mess up your shoulders this way. Because the barbell decline bench press is a little bit better than the dumbbell version, I'm gonna put it in the C tier. But overall, the decline bench press is not really needed if you are relatively new to the gym. In my mind, it's something that you might consider doing after you have some years in the gym under your belt. Now let's talk about push-ups. The classic push-up is for sure a great exercise, but when you get to the point where you need to add additional weight, it can get a bit messy. You can either use a weighted vest, but that's not gonna last you very long. You will still need to put a bunch of plates in your backpack, which as I said can get a bit messy. The issue is that plates in your backpack will be constantly moving. One set they will sit more on your upper back and the other set they might slip a little bit lower and that could throw you off a little bit. Or in the worst case, the plates on your back can just completely fall off and you can seriously injure yourself. But all of that can be solved with buying a high quality backpack and being careful. So the push-up / weighted push-up is A tier for me. It would have been S tier, but the difficulty of putting the plates on your back takes it down to A. This is also a great replacement for the bench press, if you have some issues with it for some reason. When we are already talking about push-ups, let me tell you which variation is my favorite one. By the way, I'm not gonna rank every single push-up variation because there is just way too many of them. But most of the variations are pretty good. But the best one, in my opinion, is the ring push-ups. Especially when you turn your wrists out as you go up. This variation is pretty challenging even without any additional weight and the contraction is just simply amazing. So it's also A tier for me. But one more push-up variation that I will mention is the medicine ball push-up. Because I want everyone to know that this exercise is completely garbage, just because of the fact that you are unstable while doing the exercise. Which means that you will have to concentrate on balancing instead of actually doing more reps. Adding the unstable element to any exercise is completely unnecessary if your goal is to build muscle. So no squatting on a Bosu ball or doing push-ups on the medicine ball. Absolute garbage, just don't do it. This goes straight to the science-based tier. Let's come back to some exercises that are actually worth doing. The incline bench press is also kind of a must-do exercise in my opinion. Both dumbbell and barbell variations are great. The same thing that I said about the bench press applies here. Amazing exercise, S tier. You can see that we have still not talked about any isolation exercises, so let's fix that. I will talk about the two most popular variations. Let's start with the dumbbell fly. Personally, I'm not that big of a fan of this exercise, but that's purely just my personal bias. This is still a very good isolation exercise. but I think that there are better variations of this exercise, so it's B tier for me. You might disagree with me, but that's kind of the point, you know? The next variation that I want to talk about is the cable fly. This is the variation that I absolutely love. The constant stretch is absolutely amazing. That's why I prefer it over the dumbbell fly. So it's for sure S tier for me. Next up, we have the landmine press. This is actually one of my favorite exercises. But even though it's one of my favorites, I still think that it's not that great, for a couple of simple reasons. First of all, you should always do the landmine press with both hands, and not just with one, in my opinion. And I also think that the kneeling down version is way better than the version where you stand up. And then you also gotta really make sure that you are targeting your chest and not your shoulders, which can be really hard for people who don't have the experience with it. So this is most likely not suitable for anyone new to the gym. So even though I'm a fan of this exercise, it's B tier for me. Next we have the pec deck. I see this exercise as kind of a noob trap. You know, when you have no idea what you're doing, so you just jump on some machine and I guess that will work, right? I don't think that it's like atrocious or anything, but there are for sure better exercises than this. So you are better off focusing on the basic exercises instead of just going from machine to machine. It's C tier at best. And now let me show you this exercise. It's called squeeze press or something like that. This is one of those exercises that someone does on TikTok and then everyone goes bonkers over it. But this is actually one of the worst exercises ever. So please, stay away. You already know where this goes. Yup, straight to the science-based tier. And don't think that I forgot about dips. Dips are really good. So I will put them in the A tier. The only reason why they are not in the S tier is because for some people the dips can be very uncomfortable for their shoulders. And also if you get super strong, the dips can get very awkward when you have to juggle like 3 gigantic plates between your legs. But at that point you are suffering from success, which is fine. Now let's talk about an exercise that is usually pretty controversial when doing tier lists like this. It's the dumbbell pullover. Depending on who you ask, you might hear that it's either completely amazing or it's absolute garbage. My opinion on it, it's that it's more of a lat exercise than a chest exercise. But it can for sure be used as a chest exercise, because it is very unique. It offers you the ability to expand your ribcage, which could actually be something that you might be interested in. This is definitely not the best chest exercise, but just the fact that it can help you expand your ribcage makes it at least a C tier exercise for me. Next up, we got the chest press. This exercise is definitely worth your time. You can just lock in and exert as much power as you can. That's exactly what you want from a chest exercise. If you got access to this machine, definitely give it a shot. It's solid A tier. And the last exercise is the Smith machine. Due to the added stability of the exercise, you can really focus on just pushing the weight. In this sense, it's very similar to the chest press. The issue with this exercise is that it can cause some shoulder pain, because you are moving the weight in a fixed position, which might not be ideal for some folks. Personally, I'm not that big of a fan of this exercise, so it goes in the B tier. So this was my chest exercise tier list. Do you agree with my rankings? What would you change? And are there any exercises that you think I missed? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you are interested in effective and easy to understand training plans that use all the S tier exercises, check out my website. Link in the description. And as always, a big thanks to all my supporters on Patreon. Did you like this video? Then you will for sure like this one too.